Losing weight, it is not complicated at all. In fact, it's really easy. We all know what to do. You eat a little less, you move your body, you lift weights, and you eat a lot of protein. Everyone knows this. So then why does it feel like a battle? Why do people keep starting and stopping? Why does it feel so emotional? And the answer is, weight loss is almost never about food. It is psychological. And it usually comes down to two things. Let me explain. So the first reason we struggle with weight loss is emotional connection. For a lot of people, food isn't just food. Food is comfort. Food is relief. Food is how we cope when we are stressed, when we are lonely, when we are in doubt, when we feel overwhelmed. Does it sound familiar? So when we are trying to lose weight, what we are actually doing is removing one of the main ways that we regulate our emotions. So of course that is going to be hard. Of course your body is going to resist that. That is not a discipline problem. That is not a willpower problem. That is an emotional attachment. This is where a lot of us get stuck. We keep telling ourselves we need to be more disciplined, when really we are trying to break an emotional pattern. And that is huge. That is not an easy thing to do. So we start believing that weight loss is hard. And then there's the second reason. These two go hand in hand. The second reason we struggle to lose weight is identity. Even if you understand the emotional part, weight loss will still feel hard if it doesn't match how you see yourself. You will never go farther than the limits of the person you see yourself as. You will never go farther than the limits of your identity. If deep down you don't see yourself as a person who constantly works out, if you don't see yourself as someone who's in control of their food, and if you don't see yourself as someone who takes care of their body, every healthy choice feels forced. Even if you force yourself to do these things, eventually you will come back to the old self again. Why? Because you feel like you are pretending to be someone else, someone you are not. And that creates resistance. Your brain always wants to match your actions with the person who you believe you are. So if your identity is still tied to your old habits, old routine, old coping mechanisms, your body literally pulls you back to the old self eventually. That is why people self-sabotage. That is why sometimes we eat perfectly all day and binge eat at night. That's why we restart every Monday, again and again and again. This is not because we are weak. We are trying to change a behavior without changing the identity first. You are trying to change a habit without you seeing yourself as someone who's capable of doing that. So now the real question is, how do we fix this? I'll tell you. Most people try to fix this in the wrong order. You do not start with discipline. You do not start with restriction. You start with understanding. Let's talk about emotional part first. I feel like most of us skip this part. And honestly, this is the hardest part. You don't just stop emotional eating. Food became a coping tool for a reason. At some point in your life, food made you feel safe. Food made you feel calm. Food made you relieve stress, stop feeling overwhelmed, stop feeling loneliness. And your brain learned, oh, this works. This do help me relieve stress. So when you feel something uncomfortable, your body isn't asking food because you are hungry. It is asking it for relief. And that is important to understand, because now emotional eating, it is the strategy. It is the strategy to relief. So instead of asking yourself, oh my God, why I can't just stop eating, ask yourself a better question. Ask yourself, okay, what emotion am I trying to soothe right now? Am I stressed? Do I feel lonely? Am I overwhelmed? Ask a better question. Because once you see that, once you get the answer for that, you stop fighting with yourself. And here's the part that it goes wrong. Most people try to remove food as their comfort without replacing it first. So, of course, they binge at night again. Of course, it feels impossible. You just took away the only thing that helped you regulate. So, what actually works is you need to find a way to satisfy that emotional need. For an example, if you are eating because you are stressed, your body is not asking for a snack, it is asking for relief. So, what you can do instead is taking a walk, moving your body, or maybe leaving the environment you are in, breathing. Replace it with something. If you are eating because you feel lonely, your body is not asking for food, it is asking for connection. So maybe call a friend, call your partner, sit with someone you trust, have a deep talk. That is how you calm that emotion. If you are eating because you feel bored or you feel numb, your body is not asking for food, it is asking to feel something. So maybe take a hot shower with relaxing music, or maybe dance, or just listen to music, or journal. Do something with your hands. And remember, you don't have to do this perfectly. Sometimes you will still eat. Sometimes food will still be the choice. That doesn't mean you failed. The goal here is simple. More options, no restrictions. Eating is not the only thing that you do to cope with those emotions. Now you have other options too. If you try to cut it all at once, you will probably fail. So take it slow. By doing this over and over, you teach your nervous system that I feel this and I survive it. When that happens, food slowly loses its grip. Not through discipline, but through safety. Okay, now let's talk about identity. How can we fix this part? Even if you know what to eat, even if you know that you need to eat in a calorie deficit, even if you try again and again and again, if you don't see yourself as someone who takes care of their body, you will eventually go back to your old habits, old routine. How do I know? Because I've been there. I've lost weight multiple times in my life. I did it the extreme way, not dating, over restricting. And did I lose the weight? Yes, really fast actually. But did it last? No, because I couldn't stop seeing myself as that same person. It's like I was just temporarily controlling myself. And I lost weight again, but this time it was different. I stopped seeing myself as someone who's trying to lose the weight all the time. Instead, I started to see myself as someone who takes care of their body. Like, oh, I'm that girl who loves to go to the gym with, their cutesy outfit, working out every day. I started to see me as that girl. I know it sounds small, but it did wonders for me. When your identity changes, your decisions change without force, without restriction. You don't argue with yourself as much. You don't need motivation every day to go to the gym, because now you believe you are that girl going to the gym every day, eating clean, and your brain sees you as that person now. Your brain wants to match your actions with who you see yourself as. Also remember this, your identity doesn't change overnight. You need to give proof so it can change. Imagine you eat a balanced diet. Give yourself credit. You keep one promise to yourself. Praise yourself. And you move your body. Be proud of yourself. Glorify those small things you do. And try to embody the reality of that girl who eats clean, who goes to the gym. And when you do this over and over, your brain goes like, oh, maybe this is who we are now. And that is how it sticks. Alright, so with that, it leads us to one more important part. I want you to understand this. When you are trying to lose weight, you are not only losing weight. You are changing how you cope. You are changing how you comfort yourself. You are changing how you regulate your stress. And you are changing how you see yourself. And that is huge. So if it feels hard, it makes sense. If it feels uncomfortable, That makes sense too. And if it takes time, that makes sense. You are not only shrinking your body, you are becoming an entirely different person. That process deserves empathy, not self-hate. Don't be too hard on yourself. If you are too hard on yourself, this is not going to be sustainable. You will again fall back onto your old patterns. If you keep asking yourself, why am I like this? Why I can't just eat a little? I want to assure that there's nothing wrong with you. You are untangling emotional attachment and identity at the same time. And that is big work. So if you are in that process now, hear me out. Struggling doesn't mean that you are failing. It means you are changing. When you do this in a sustainable way, you don't just lose weight. You become a different person. And that part lasts. I hope this video helped you understand about weight loss in a different angle. If it helped you, like the video and subscribe me. And of course, follow me on my socials. I post a lot about identity, mindset, how to change your life in a sustainable way. And if the identity part we talked about really hit you, you can watch this video. I will link the video above here. It is about changing your identity entirely. Not just for weight loss, for anything you need. Check that out. Also, I help women become their best self. If you're overwhelmed, if you feel like you're stuck, or if you feel like you want to talk to someone to get clarity on your life, I'm here. You can book a call with me and the link is in bio. And all the links to my socials are there too. And finally, remember, you are not broken, you are learning, and it is okay to take this slow. I'll see you next week with another video like this. I love you.